this is what I was supposed to do today. Did I do it? No. Why not? Well, there was too much for one day. You got to adjust your plan. Hello, this is Joe Harris from Morgan Financial, and this is your Keeping Your Business on Track podcast. I'm here with a special guest today, Nick Morgan. Nick, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Joe. How are you?
Good. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
So here we are in a new year. Nick, typically, what do people do this time of year?
Yeah, the best way for me when I think about the new year is a new chapter, a new book.
Right.
A lot of people, they're looking towards the end of the year. They're making their resolutions. And they're setting goals.
Setting goals.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. So a lot of people have started the year already because it's the second week of January?
Yeah,
second week of January.
Or 1 weekend. Yeah.
1 weekend. And people probably have these goals and they're fresh in their mind and they want to be successful this year. It's like you said, new chapter. They get a new start to their year. And so what are we going to talk about today regarding that?
Yeah, I think just how you can achieve your goals, how you can set them and then actually fulfill them by the end of the year.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Okay. So, I think about people set goals. Now, I got a crazy stat for you. All right.
Okay.
And 84% of the people, and this was according to a a study allegedly done by Harvard. It might have been Yale. I might get my facts wrong, but it's one of those fancy Ivy League type schools. And so they said that 84% of people don't have goals. 84%. Okay. And that there's 13% actually have a goal in mind.
Yeah.
But they haven't, it's not written down. And the 13% that have a goal in mind are 10 times more likely to succeed than the 84% that don't have a goal.
Wow.
Now, I'll take that stat one step further. There's 3% that have a goal in mind that they've actually written it down. 3%. And they're 3 times more likely to succeed than the 13% that are 10 times more likely to succeed than the 84%. So what's that tell you?
That's wild. So you're essentially saying you're 30 times more likely if you just write down on a piece of paper whatever you want to achieve, which is
30 times more likely.
That's crazy.
So to me, that says write your freaking goals down.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
But so let's get into it. I look at achieving your goals as a process.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
It's one thing to write down. The reason why, in my humble opinion, that you're more likely to succeed if you write down your goals is that it's a start. You kind of solidified it. You put it on paper. You said, I'm going to do this. Whereas if you don't even have goals, how are you going to achieve something you don't even have?
Yeah.
Right? How are you going to be successful if you have no idea where you're going?
100%.
So that goals, to me, is that I say there's 3 main things that people need to do to achieve their goals this year. The number one thing is to not only have goals, but have SMART goals. Mm-hmm. And SMART, you've heard the acronym before?
I have. I'm not too familiar. I know a couple of them,
not
but
trying to stump you.
Yeah, not all 5.
All right. So SMART is specific. It's got to be a specific item. It's got to be measurable. You have to be able to say, how many, is it 1, 2, 5, 10?
Sure.
Is it attainable?
Yeah.
Is it relevant? If you work in real estate and your goal is about selling widgets, well, that's not relevant to what you do, right? And then it's got to be timely. When are you going to do all this by? Mm-hmm. So specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. So the first main thing that people need to think about when they're setting goals is to make sure it fits. If you just say, if you do real estate and you say, I just want to do more, is that a goal? Is that a SMART goal?
No.
No.
I wouldn't know.
What might be a SMART goal if you're in real estate?
I want to do, and I'm not too familiar with the real estate quantities and stuff like that, but let's say I want to do 2 more houses a month.
Okay. So let's say 2 houses a month. So that's 24 sales a year, right?
Yeah.
So is it specific? Yeah, you're selling houses. I want to sell, and how is it measurable? Yeah, 2 houses a month is measurable. Mm-hmm. Is it attainable? Well, if you did 0 last year, yeah, it might be tough,
right?
But it's definitely possible. Mm-hmm. Is it relevant? Yes, you sell real estate. You're talking about selling houses. Yeah. Is it timely? Yes, by the end of the year. So that's a SMART goal. Maybe it's a production value. I want to do $10 million in real estate sales this year, right? Well, that's specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely, or relevant and timely. The attainable piece is really up to the individual, because if you did 20 million this year and you want to go to a billion, well, that might be not attainable, right?
Yeah.
It's possible, but might not be attainable for you. Mm-hmm. So people got to keep that in mind too. You want to shoot high, but if you shoot too high, it might be defeating along the way.
Sure.
And that brings me to the next one. The second thing I think about when making sure, you have good goals. Well, it's one thing to have good goals. And even if you write them down, you still have to have a plan to achieve them, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, what are you going to do today to get your goal, right? So I think I look at the goal as starting from the end. I want to do this. Now you got to work yourself backwards. What I got to do this year, well, I'll start today, this week, this month, this year, this quarter, this year, and I have to have some kind of a plan. Well, I have to do this every day, or this every week, and definitely this every month. So that planning of that goal is another big step in the process here.
Definitely.
Yeah. And so the third thing is the tracking piece, and this is where a lot of people fail. All right, so you've heard me talk about KPIs before.
100%. Yep.
All right, so I look at KPIs or key performance indicators. That's the data. Where am I in my goal? And if you don't track, if you have a plan, you have to keep up with your plan. Mm-hmm. And every day you got to ask yourself, am I on track to hit my goal or not? And in that plan, it should say, I need this many every day, this many every week, this many every month. And then you have to see, well, did I hit what I was supposed to do this week?
Yep.
And you got to track that on a weekly and a daily basis. Like if I'm saying I'm going to make 100 phone calls this week, at Friday at 4 p.m. when your buddy's saying, hey, you want to go to happy hour, and you've only made 90 calls, you might think twice about accepting that invitation. You might go and make those other 10 calls. And with sales, as you know, it might be that 100th call that gets you the sale.
Yeah.
So tracking it on a regular basis, to me, is the thing that really ties all this together.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you don't have tracking, you don't know if you're on the rails or off the rails, how to get back on track, where to make up time. That's a huge piece that people don't stick to, right? You can have a fantastic plan, but if you don't do it, exactly. It's the doing part of it, which is really the hardest part of everything.
Yeah, it's the execution, but it's also, you can have a great plan and you can execute it, but are you executing it well or poorly? So by having a good plan, the KPIs will allow you to see, are you doing a good job with your plan or a bad job? Mm-hmm. And so if you don't track it, you think you're doing great.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I do all this stuff, but I'm not getting the business. Well, are you doing the right amount of the stuff? Are you actually doing it? Are you just saying you think it? Are you busy but not productive?
Yeah.
And so by tracking it, it allows you to go back every day and say, this is what I was supposed to do today. Did I do it? No. Why not? Mm-hmm. Well, there was too much for one day. You got to adjust your plan.
Yeah.
But that goes on a daily basis. So am I on track towards hitting my plan? No. Why not? What have I done right? What have I done wrong? What do I need to adjust? Is my plan too audacious? Does it work? And you can't go to the end of the year and look back and say, did I hit my goals? Looks like I did. No.
Right.
It's like it's the second week of January. You should know if you're on track to hit your goal right now or off track.
Right. Yeah. And that's a big part of that measurable piece in the SMART goal, I think. Right. When I think about the SMART goals, to me personally, the measurable is the most important because you have no idea what to plan for or how to track it if you don't have a measurable goal. Just for me personally, when I think about the SMART goals.
Yeah. So going back, it's the first obstacle or the first challenge is to have those goals, right? Yeah. We said you're 30 times more likely to succeed if you have goals and you've written them down than someone that doesn't have those at all. So you have to have goals. Mm-hmm. You have to have a plan to achieve those goals. That plan can be as specific and the more specific and detailed it is, obviously plans can change. Mm-hmm. But the more specific and detailed that plan is, the more likely you are going to do it and to succeed with it than if you didn't have any plan whatsoever and you're just winging it all year.
Right. Yeah.
And then the best way to stay on track is to track your measurements.
Right.
Now, we're big fans of the scorecard.
Yes.
And we fill scorecards out on a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly basis.
Yes.
But that's what's telling you if your plan is working or not. Are you on track? Mm-hmm. And it allows you to adjust and things like that.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm a big fan of the scorecard from the moment I got here, especially for a newbie, just seeing, where am I lacking? Where can I improve? And it's not so much, you feel like you might be being judged, but that judgment is what keeps you improving.
Well, it's funny. The thing about a scorecard is that it will show you what's working and what's not working.
Exactly.
And you might think, oh, this activity gets me all this business, and this is why I do this activity. But in the reality, you might just like doing that activity.
Yeah.
It might make you feel important or busy, but in reality, it might not get you any of the thing that you're looking for. Mm-hmm. And so the hard thing about tracking, and some people don't like it, is that it really sheds light on what works and what doesn't. And if you really like to do something, even though it's not productive, some people still just they're like, well, I like to do that. Yeah. But it's not productive. You're wasting your time. Or you'll find something that you didn't think was productive is super productive.
Yeah.
And you can save more time. Because look, we don't want to work 24 hours a day.
For sure.
What if you could find out what works and what doesn't work, get rid of the things that don't work, stick with the things that do work, and shave off a couple hours of work a week?
Yeah, definitely. Concentrate your efforts. You get more work done in less amount of time.
Yeah. So we just did. So it's funny. The one is goals. Number 2 is planning. Number 3 is tracking. That acronym is GPT. Okay. So we do this thing called KaiBot, keeping your business on track. We have one coming up this week, this next week on
next Tuesday.
16th of, is that the 16th of January?
Today is the 8th. So yes, the 16th.
16th.
Yep.
And so we're doing a class to help real estate agents with using ChatGPT to help further their real estate business. The last one we did was charting your course, planning for the best year ever, which we tackled a lot of these topics, and we'll do it again. So that's it. So if you're like many people and you have goals for 2024, I had to think about what year we're in. It's I'm still thinking 2023, 2020. So anyway, if you're in 2024 and you have goals, good job, because you're doing better. If you have them written down, you're part of the 3% that has goals that are written down. Now, if they're smart and you have a plan for them and you're tracking, the chances of you failing are, I don't want to put this out there, but they're very small.
Yeah, much less.
You're much less than if you had no goals, no plan.
Exactly.
So good on you. If you need help with your goals and plan, talk to our business development team here. We do what do they call them, seminars, classes, presentations on that, what I just talked about. Maybe set one up for your brokerage if you're local here. But make sure you join our Keeping Your Business on Track. Monthly, we do classes in our building here in Melbourne to help educate real estate agents on helping them improve their business. That's pretty much all I got, man.
Yeah. I really appreciate it. Thank you,
cool.
Joe.
Well, thank you all for watching. Make sure, if you're not a subscriber, please hit the subscribe button. Like this video if you found any value whatsoever. Share it with someone who you think might also find some value in it. And we'll see you next time. Talk to you soon.